Right, I've painted both sets. This is a different sort of paint I picked up. They hadn't got the usual Craig and Rose that I like. It's called Heritage by Dulux, and I can't decide if I like it or not. It goes on like the old-fashioned sort of gloss, so you can't put it on thick because it'll run, but the colour's really nice once it's dry, and it does give quite a nice, it's very matte when it's dry, but yet when you're painting it on it looks really glossy. So that's the paint I've used anyway, but whether it'll be any good or not,
voice
who
over
knows?
here.
Can I just ask, do any of you paint
dry,
the bottom of
and
your
paint this
drawers? You know, the drawer part that's not finished off, so you kind of don't see.
washed and
Just
sanded
curious,
and
it's not very often I do.
a few repairs.
Just wondering if any of you guys paint
taped
it
off
the
or not.
inside, because I'm
Okay.
extremely messy and I can't paint a line without getting it all over. And I'm having to do the voiceover now because everyone keeps coming in asking questions. But thumbs up, the daughter likes the colour. Well, I got a which is a yes, I quite like that. How many more of your children all do that? I'll say she can really like something and you'll say alright, and she'll go and that's about as much you get out of her. But no, she's mine and she's me really. When I look at her, she's just a double. Right, these are all done now, so I'll leave these to dry. Children don't, and we'll come back to the
saying to her,
you're alright saying you don't like this, that and the other. As you can see, I'm using the Das clay again, which is my favourite. Accept it. I just use a bit of flour to soften the moulds up so it all comes out easier. And away we go. I'd put this on everything if it was down to me. I just love how it can take something so just plain and everyday, and then you could do something really nice with it. This is probably the point, if I was watching, where I'd go and make myself a cup of tea, because it certainly takes quite a while. I bet it can take up to 2 hours quite easily to mould a set for a little set of drawers. People have been asking me why do I take them out while they're wet, which is, as far as I'm aware, that is the way to do it. I don't believe you leave them in until they're dry. But could you imagine if you're trying to do a set of drawers and you had to leave each one in until it was dry? I mean, I leave them overnight, so it'd take quite a few weeks just to do one set of drawers. I mean, I don't know, from watching everybody else, everyone's always taken them out wet, so I've never had a problem with it. And I was asked about gluing them on as well, because they've seen me gluing them on wet, which again is what I do, but you do have to make sure that your item is flat if you can, because obviously gravity pulls, and the heavier they are, they do want to slip. So I tend to, as you see, I tend to take my drawers out and line them up on the table and stick them flat, and I'll leave them like that until the following day. But obviously if it's a piece that you can't leave flat, or you can't lay it down or whatever, then on certain parts I'd just put a bit of masking tape. But obviously take all your sticky off it first, because you won't want it to bring your paint up. So things that have been on, not wardrobes as such, but I did my own wardrobe. I just taped off the big pieces, and I always tend to use the Gorilla wood glue. I find that it's fab. It does what you want it to do. I've never, fingers crossed, had any problems with it coming off. I'm wanting to try the resin, but when I think how much clay I get through and the price of the clay compared to the resin, I think I could be onto quite an expensive job. And the thing is, I don't get the money back where I am. I mean, I know in the US and stuff, you see them and they're selling these items for $300 and $400, and you think, crikey, you know, I put in that amount of effort as well, and I'm lucky if I can get £100. Very lucky. But I do get quite a lot done in a week. I do tend to try and at night time I will go and collect all the bits that I've reserved or seen or paid for, so then I'm at home in the day and I can just, it's like a conveyor belt, isn't it, I suppose, when it's your business. But I would just like to say, obviously there may be odd little bits that you see that I haven't finished on film, or I may have rushed or whatever, but before I put something on to sell, I do double check everything and make sure everything is as perfect as I can make it. I don't leave anything left undone as such. It's definitely a labour of love. When you think of all the jobs that you do growing up, and then all of a sudden you just come across, and I mean, I couldn't even decorate when I started. My hubby, he used to laugh and he'd be like, you know, you can't even paint a wall without it being everywhere, and my wallpaper would start off straight and then it'd be slanted by the end of it. And yet I do all that now and I love it. I'd redo a room every 5 or 6 months if I could. Might get a bit expensive like, but it's just so, it's strange how you change as you get older with the things that you enjoy doing. And this, to me, I just love it. You're out the way, I'm in my own room, I can have my music blasting away if I like, singing along with no one to moan at me that I'm completely tone deaf. And just craft to my little heart's content and make a few pounds out of it at the same time. As you can see here, I've used 2 or 3 different moulds. I've not used the roses this time because roses are quite distinctive, so to me I think if you use the roses, you just use the roses, where you can get away with it on this quite easily. And there we have them done. How pretty. So I shall leave all this to dry overnight and then come back and paint over them. Lovely. So this is the next day. I'm just going to give them all a coat. There, my pumpkin. Oh, you're being vicious to you. I've done at the end. I'll point it out for you at the end. I might not actually. I might wait and see if any of you send to see what. It's a major cock up, and obviously off camera I had to redo it, and because to me it really stood out. So I'd like you to comment below if you notice what I've done wrong when you see the finished product all back in the drawers, and let me know. I couldn't believe it. I thought, oh no, how much time it's going to take me to redo it.
Oh dear, what is
Sorry about
doing
that.
to you?
I was just
Hey?
I had to nip off. I don't know what I was saying now. Probably nothing important knowing me. But don't they look lovely, the clay? It really does alter. And it seems to be quite popular as well. The things that I do in it, I do tend to sell a lot quicker than if they are just plain, obviously. Because as of yet, there's not a lot round here that's... I have noticed, how do you go on with... I sell on Marketplace, I'm in the UK, and when I've been doing this for quite a few years now, 6-7 years on and off, but it's only been these last 3 years that I've done it as full time, and it's my job as such. But I have noticed there's quite a lot of other people coming along now, and I've also noticed that people that have bought stuff off me that have had some sort of detailing, whether it's been this, are now doing it themselves. How do you feel about things like that? Because for the last couple of years, obviously it's only been me. I mean, obviously you've always got your odd person knocking around that's doing furniture as well, but I could get things that I didn't have to sell things expensive, because I could list it and it'd be gone, list it and it'd be gone, sort of thing. So it was more of a fast turnover for me, which enabled me to obviously still get my wage. But now I've made the mistake of not relying on a quick turnaround as such, and now I've got the other people, which is fair enough. I mean, I don't own no rights to nothing. I'm not being nasty to anybody, but you think, that's mine. That's my baby. And now you're, like 10-15 mile down the road, and you're now having a go at doing it as well. So I don't know, because like I say, you can't demand high money. I think I wish I lived down the south. I had one guy came, and he had quite a lot, and he was from Birmingham, which is a good 2.5-3 hour drive, and he liked something that I'd done that much, and it was for his wife. It was an Indian fella, and they were going to get married, and he bought this one set off me, and then he said to me, please find everything if you can matching and do all this. So he came from Birmingham, and he said to me, if you lived over where we are, he said you'd make a killing, because obviously all our ladies like very detailed items. So at one point I was like, right, pack up kids, we're moving to bed, as you do, sort of thing. But no, I have noticed it's dropped. It's starting to drop a little bit more, or people are saying, well, I can get that down the road, and theirs is so and so. So how have you all coped with that? Because obviously it happens everywhere, doesn't it? I suppose I've had a good run at it for the last 3 years. I suppose I should have known when people were saying, oh, I do like this, where do you get this from, and who do you get your moulds off? And I was just being nice. Free flowing with my mouth, as I do. And now it's come back to bite me in the bum. But I do have my regulars, which is good. And like I say, those regulars that have had stuff off me, and that I can wake up some mornings and there'll be like a few bits and bobs at the back door. And you think, thank you! Because obviously you can't get any better than 3. Right, can you see, sorry to cut you off short, but can you see the major cock up that I've done? Take a good look. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, let's put it that way. But it was all rectified, and yes, it